Hello mathematicians! Today's number corner video is a little different. Somewhere in this video there is a secret emoji hidden. Your job is to try and find that secret emoji, and you'll find it if you're watching the full video. So I will know when you submit your work if you actually watched the video, because you'll tell me what the secret emoji is on top of your paper. All right? All right, today is November 18th, 2020. We're going to try and predict what the time will be for today's card based on our elapsed time pattern. On the 14th, we noticed that the pattern changed from an hour and 20 minutes to an hour and 30 minutes. So we figured out that every 7 days, the elapsed time between today and the day before is increasing by 10 minutes. So right now we see that every day the time is increasing by an hour and 30 minutes. And the reason it changes every 7 days is because there are 7 days in a week. So every week the time is increasing. All right? If the time on card 17 was 9 o'clock p.m., and we know that every day the time is increasing by an hour and 30 minutes, what do you think the card is going to show for day 18, for today? In other words, what is an hour and 30 minutes past 9 o'clock p.m.? You were thinking 10:30. Nice job. Card 18 for today reads 10:30 p.m. and we're still increasing by an hour and 30 minutes. Now, since the very beginning, since the first day, we started at 12 o'clock a.m., which is the middle of the night. 12 o'clock a.m. is when our 24-hour clock starts. Okay, we went all the way around the 12 hours one time, and then we were at 12 o'clock p.m. 12 o'clock p.m. is midday. Okay, that's the middle of the day. That's called noon. And then the 12-hour clock starts again. Right now, we are almost at a full 24 hours. Before we take a look at the pages that you will do today, remind yourself what elapsed time is. Elapsed time is the amount of time that passes between 2 points in time. It's the difference between the two times. AM stands for ante-meridian, before midday, and we know that's in the middle of the night and in the morning. And PM starts at noon and goes through the night until it reaches AM again. And PM stands for post-meridian. Get your number corner book out. We're going to take a look at page 26. On page 26, the title of the page is The Twins' School Day. Number 1. The twins, Camilla and Justin, go to school each day, just like you. These clocks show their schedule. Fill in the time for each clock, including AM or PM. Then answer the questions below. If we take a look at clock number 1, we need to figure out the time that their school starts. And I see that this small hand, the hour hand, is in between two numbers. Okay? Whenever the smaller hand, the hour hand, is in between two numbers, we have to remember that it's always going to be the number that comes before. A clock rotates to the right. Okay, so if we're starting at 9 o'clock, watch this. The clock rotates to the right, and we call this clockwise. Okay, so we know that if we started here and it is reaching 8 o'clock, but it's a little bit past 8 o'clock, it has to be somewhere in the 8 o'clock hour because we haven't even reached 9 yet. Okay, so we know that this clock is saying it's 8 o'clock, and the larger hand is pointing to the 4. We know that when we start at the 12, we go up by 5 minutes. 5, 10, 15, 20. The time is 8:20. And does school start at AM or PM? School starts in the morning, so it'd be 8:20 a.m. Our second clock is when morning recess begins. Same thing goes here. This clock, it looks like it's in between, but we see that the larger hand is pointing at the 12, so we can say it's 10 o'clock. And we are still in AM. Okay, we'll do one more and then I want you to do the last two on your own. This clock is asking when lunch begins. We have to take a look at the smaller hand first. This smaller hand is in between two numbers. But remember, if we're rotating clockwise, it has to be the number that came before because it hasn't reached 12 o'clock yet. So it is 11 and the large hand is pointing to the 10. I know this 9 is 45, so the 10 tells me that it is 11:50. We haven't reached noon yet, so we are still in AM. But remember, right when we hit 12 o'clock in the middle of the day, it changes to PM. So make sure you're noting that with these last two times. Number 2, how long is it between school start time and lunchtime? You need to figure out what the elapsed time is between school starting and lunch beginning. We already know those two times, so let's set it up. We know that the school start time is 8:20, and we know that lunchtime is at 11:50. In order to find the difference between these two times, or that elapsed time, remember the difference means we need to set it up like a subtraction problem. Okay? You could set it up like a subtraction problem, or you could use a number line. Okay? I'll show you both ways. All right, remember we're going to start with the larger time and subtract the smaller time to find out what's in between. So if I do that, 11 minus 8 gives me 3. So the elapsed time, how long is it between school start time and lunchtime? 3 hours and 30 minutes. Number 3, let's try this one using a number line. How long is it between the start of morning recess and math time? Well, if you figured out the math time, we see that the small hand is in between the 1 and the 2, but the 1 came first. So it is 1:40. We know it's past noon, so now it is PM. Okay? When we're using the number line, we have to make sure that we are starting with that first time. Okay? So I'm going to start here at 10 o'clock a.m. because that is when morning recess begins. And I need to figure out how much time passes between 10 o'clock and 1:40. All right, I know that it takes 2 hours to get from 10 o'clock to noon to 12 o'clock p.m. So I'm going to first make a jump of 2 hours. When I jump 2 hours, I end up at noon, 12 o'clock. And from noon to 1, I know that's 1 hour. A little tight of a space to show your work here. I know that's 1 o'clock. And from 1 o'clock to 1:40, that's 40 minutes. Now to answer the question, we have to take a look at all 3 of those times that we added. 2 hours, 1 hour, and 40 minutes. If we add 2 hours plus 1 hour plus 40 minutes we set it up like an addition problem. We can figure out how much time passed. So in this case, how long is it between the start of morning recess and math time? 3 hours and 40 minutes. Right, number 4. School is over at 3:20. How long are the twins in school each day? You're going to find the elapsed time between 8:20 and the end of school. Number 5. After school club lasts for an hour and 15 minutes. At what time does it end? Be sure to write AM or PM. So once you figure out what time after school club begins, remember, has to be 3 o'clock. We know that if it's pointing to the 6, it is 3:30 p.m. It says after school club lasts for an hour and 15 minutes. What is an hour and 15 minutes past 3:30? Make sure you write AM or PM. And finally, number 6. On Wednesdays, the kids in after school club go to swimming at 3:45. The clock below shows when their swim time is over. How long is their swim time? Okay, so we know that their swim time is 3:45. You're going to read the time on this clock and add it to 3:45 to figure out when it ends. All right. What is this? Oh, okay. Okay, you are going to write what you see here, the secret emoji, at the very top of your page. Page 25, I want you to write it right where the date is. And I will know if you watch this video if you have the name of that secret emoji right there. Let's take a look at page 26. Page 26 is one question with a couple steps. Once a month, the kids in after school club, that same after school club, take the bus across town to go to the Children's Museum. Camilla has a bus schedule, but it's been torn off at the bottom. When they get to the bus stop, Justin's watch looks like this. A. What time will the kids be able to catch the next bus? B. Explain your answer. Okay, so we know that they need to catch the next bus, so we need to figure out when the next bus is going to come. If we look at this bus schedule, it says it goes from 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. I want you to look at these times and try and notice the pattern of how often the bus comes. 7:30 a.m., 7:45 a.m., 8 o'clock a.m., 8:15 a.m., 8:30 a.m., and 8:45 a.m. What is the elapsed time for each of these bus stop times? There is a new bus every 15 minutes. So we know that every 15 minutes there will be a bus. Okay? Now, we know that the schedule is torn off, but if we know that the bus comes every 15 minutes, we just have to let Justin know what the next 15-minute interval is. So take a look at Justin's watch. Justin's watch reads 3. And if we know that the 6, that's 30, it's about 3:32. 3:32, we know it's in the afternoon, okay? If the bus comes every 15 minutes, we can see a pattern here, okay? Every 15 minutes would be at 9 o'clock, 15, 30, 45, and back to the top of the hour. Okay? 15, 30, 45, and the top of the hour. So if it's 3:32, Justin just missed the 3:30 bus. What is the next 15-minute interval that he will be able to catch the bus? Write your answer here. Make sure you include PM and explain how you know. All right, 4th grade, message me on Schoology if you have any questions. Make sure to write that secret emoji at the top of page 25. Nice job.